travelers, I'm Joe. This is Good Times RVing. Today, I'd like to review some of the items I've had done to the RV in the last several months. Some were just repairs, upgrades, and others were new equipment. The first, the one I'm most excited about, is the camera I had installed underneath the fuel filler. So when I pull into a fuel stop, I can align the pump quite easily from the instrument panel, from my seat. Align the filler neck with the fuel pump. No questions. It gives me graduated lines, so I know how far I am from the fuel aisle, or how close. And it gives me all that information literally on the fly as I pull up to the pump. Therefore, Gail doesn't have to get out, gauge where we are, and ask me to move one way or another, because I'll know exactly where we are in relation to the pump. And when she gets out, she can just spin around the coach and fill. Or if I'm traveling alone, more importantly, if I'm traveling alone, I can make the stop very efficient. Pull up to the pump, it's aligned, it's the proper distance. I don't need to move the coach any longer or anymore. Don't need to move the coach anymore. So all I need to do then is shut the engine off, get out, fill the fuel tank, or take as much fuel as I'm going to take, and then board, get in the driver's seat, and pull to a parking space, and that way I can fill out my records. I keep track of mileage and things. But I won't be tying up the fuel aisle while I do my paperwork. And I won't have to get in and out multiple times to get the proper distance from the fuel pump. It'll make everybody in the aisle, and myself, much happier, and not causing an issue. So that is very much a good addition. And all I needed, interestingly, all I needed was all I needed was a backup camera that fits flush to the side of the RV, and wire it up to the existing radio, which is a standard radio, nothing fancy, but it has a camera feature. So all I need to do is press the camera feature, and up comes the camera for the fuel filler. So I'll just give you a brief tour of exactly how that system works. So let's just take a ride down the side of the coach here. So I have the camera installed right here, and I'm trying to measure with the graduated lines what is the minimum and what is the maximum distance, so I can see what the graduated lines represent with the camera. And I'll show you the camera inside, but this is the minimum distance I'd want from the fuel aisle, fuel pumps, wheelchair, and that would be the farthest that I think would be reasonable without having to, because the hoses are so short now, I wouldn't want it any farther than that on the pump. Here's the camera and the fuel filler. Just to give you an idea of where that fuel filler is and why I felt the camera was important, is let me just show you the distance. Of course, there is where I sit, and back there, all the way back there, all the way back there is the fuel filler. And honestly, at the beginning of a trip, that is very difficult to judge. By the end of the trip, after many fuel stops, I can kind of gauge where it is. But at the beginning of the fuel stops, very difficult. And my goal here is not only to make everything convenient and easy, and that is my overriding goal always. When I'm operating by myself, to use an RV term, it's important for me to line up, because not only getting in and out for me is a chore, but it delays my time at the pump. And in a busy station, you want to clear as quickly as you can. So here I can just flip on the camera, pull up to the fuel aisle, fuel up to the pump, pull up to the pump, get out, fuel, get back in, and clear, so that the pumps are available for others. And that way I can deal with my paperwork and everything else in a parking spot. So let's go look at the camera inside. So here we are looking at the camera, and you'll notice here that that line, which is really on the far side of the cone, is at the bottom of the camera. So any fuel pump, any fuel aisle that I can observe in the camera is adequate distance from the RV. And unfortunately you can't see how far that other cone is, but it's out here, which is right about the green line. I have been to pumps that, and I'll show you a picture, that were out here and were adequate. This also has sound. But you can see clearly when a pump is lined up with the fuel filler. And for that matter, it's lined up for the sewer dump as well. So I can use this for not only the sewer dump, but also the water hookups, to see that I am within reach, especially for dumps. When I'm on the road, when you're pulling up to it, just a waste dump, you can see it's far enough away and it's lined up because the waste dump is actually just forward of the fuel filler. Just wide enough, and that little short 10-foot hose fits perfectly. Directly across from the sewer dump, or dump station, and just enough room for me to get in there. Perfect. So here's the fuel cap, camera, and my dump stack. So, my water bay. So the dump stack is pretty close to the camera, which lets me hone in right on the dump station. And my preference is to use this little short 10-foot hose short 10-foot hose that I keep right in there. Makes for a nice efficient stop. Not a lot of hose to wrestle, and I'm liking this camera more and more. Alright, well, the dump station went very well. Pulled right up to it, had more than enough hose, and plenty of room. Very good stop. Now I'll just go park it. So this works out very well. This is I think a very good addition, where I can travel conveniently, pull up to the fuel pumps. Even when my wife is with me, with Gail is with me, I can pull up to the pump. She doesn't need to get out until we're ready to fuel. She doesn't need to be walking around in the fuel area in the gas station, because quite honestly it's dangerous. People are whipping in and out and not really paying attention. Fellow travelers, hope you found that interesting. Great addition. Be safe on the roads. This is Joe. Good Times RVing.